that looks like a whole city on top of a building. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have 12 most amazing chateaus in France by the channel American Eye. This is another priority request from First Doublet, so shout out to you. Hit like on the original video. The links for that will be in the description section down below. Hit like on my video too. That'd be amazing. Thank you very much. And if you don't know what a chateau is, it's a castle. Basically the French word for a castle, evidently. So we're going to check it out. We all love castles. I do. I don't know why what would be to hate about a castle. They're all interesting. So let's check out the 12 most amazing that they have in France.
12 most amazing chateaux in France. But first, thanks French guy for leaving us this comment. We hope you're watching this video about your country. Let us know which chateau is your favorite and maybe we'll feature you in an upcoming video. Numero 12, Azay-le-Rideau. There is an enormous amount of chateaux scattered throughout the country of France, and especially in the Loire River Valley, found a couple hundred miles southwest of Paris. During the 16th century, one of the most influential monarchs of France, Francois I, shifted power from Paris and into the Loire River Valley. This region became the preferred area for French upper class to spend their time during the Renaissance.
Okay.
The original site of Azay-le-Rideau was home to a medieval castle, but the one we see in modern times was built between 1518 and 1527. It was
That looks incredible. It's like it. I mean, I know it's not floating, but it looks like a giant floating castle. That's what it looks like.
one we see in modern times was built between 1518 and 1527. It was built by Gilles Berthelot, that we see in this portrait, who had a prominent role in handling the king's finances. The picturesque chateau is surrounded by wooded forest and water, which make it a beautiful example of French architecture during this period of time.
Yeah, and the towers on the corners just look so cool. Why do they look so cool? Like just the cool circular towers. It is just super badass.
Numero 11, Chenonceau. Also located in the Loire River Valley, Chenonceau is an iconic chateau that sits on top of the River
Towers,
Cher.
man.
It's the second most visited chateau in France and
Really?
received 800,000 visitors in 2007.
Wow, so this is straight up built on the water like the other one, pretty much. So it's got tunnels under it, so boats can go through. I wonder, is there passages? Like, is there ways to get inside of it from these archways? Like, does that lead into the dungeon down here or something? Like,
The original castle that stood here was burnt down, but a more impressive piece of architecture took its place in 1522 after 8 years of construction. It displays an impressive mix of Gothic and Renaissance-style architecture, and it was home to many wealthy residents, including Catherine de' Medici, who was Queen of France from 1547 to 1559. While it was under her control, she added many beautiful gardens. Inside, it displays an amazing art gallery. It also features many rooms in great condition, such as the room of Francois I. The room of Catherine de' Medici is extremely well decorated and showing off incredible artwork. Numero 10, Chateau d'Ussé. This chateau also is a good example
of more round towers for sure. I love the round towers, like that style. And then they all have this sort of brickwork under, like the top of the tower bulges outward, so it's not just a straight cylinder. It you know, the diameter gets bigger at the top, which kind of gives it like a unique kind of feel to it. I love it. And then of course the pointed roofs on top of the towers.
of Renaissance-style architecture found in the Loire River Valley. It was declared as a historical monument in 1931, but is still a privately owned building that's open to the public. It actually belongs to the descendant of the Duke that once inhabited the chateau, but he's nice enough to let people in. Due to its picturesque architecture, it inspired Walt Disney when creating the Sleeping Beauty. Inside, you can see scenes from this fairy tale with wax mannequins. It's also notable for its garden terrace where orange trees were cultivated.
That's a cool angle. Right there. That's a really cool angle of the place. Yeah. Very cool.
Orange trees were cultivated. Numero 9, Chateau de Blois. Certainly the most notable building in the city of Blois, located halfway between the city of Tours and Orléans. Many are fascinated with the amazing detail put into this chateau, especially with the staircase and facade. The staircase that rises 5 stories is a magnificent piece of architecture that was added by Francois I. The chateau started off as a feudal castle, but it was transformed into a masterpiece during the early 16th century. Francois I spent little time here, but instructed that Blois be home to the royal library, which was then later on moved to another chateau. Here you'll also find the Chambre du Roi, which is where King Henry IV spent much of his time. There's plenty of rooms here, 564 total, with 75 staircases, making this a pretty massive chateau.
But it doesn't look as cool as the other ones. That staircase is pretty unique, though. It really is.
Numéro 8. De Sully-sur-Loire. The area de Sully-sur-Loire fortifies has possibly been occupied since Gallo-Roman times.
Yeah, that one looks cool. Something about just putting round towers on a building. I don't like... Okay, so what I was saying earlier. Look at this. Take a look at this tower on the right-hand side in the back. See how the top does not bulge out? It's just a straight cylinder. Doesn't look as cool. These ones here, the top bulges out, and then of course there's a steeper point on it too. But either way, just the fact that it bulges at the top makes it look a lot nicer.
It was originally intended to be a fortification to protect the Loire River in the 12th century, but major changes were made in the 17th century in order for it to be turned into a palatial estate. Buildings for farming, a church, thicker walls, and stables were introduced, making this a formidable stronghold. The fort suffered some damage during World War II, but in modern times, it's been restored and still a popular tourist attraction. Numéro 7. Le Chateau de Langeais. Situated in the commune of Langeais in the department of Indre-et-Loire, it has a more apparent medieval architecture than some others mentioned on this list.
Yeah, that one definitely does have that medieval, like, raw castle look. But it's still got those cool-ass round towers. With fireplaces, it looks like. Or chimneys. But I would assume a fireplace is in the top of the towers.
However, it's still been occupied in both medieval times and the Renaissance, and was even home to King Louis XI. The chateau was home to numerous sieges, but most notably during the 100-Year War with the English, when they destroyed a large portion of it. In 1886, the chateau was restored and fitted with the remarkable collection of tapestries and furniture that you see here. The notable feature of this chateau is its highly decorated chimney pieces.
Yeah.
Numéro 10.
That was like one of the first things I noticed was the chimneys.
Chateau Villandry. Chateau Villandry is one of the last chateaux constructed in the Loire River Valley in 1536. It's known for its elegant gardens, which are highly decorated and take up 2 acres of land. Located just a few kilometers from the city of Tours, the Renaissance-style architecture is rather clear and bears very little examples of medieval architecture besides the one tower that was used as fortification. Visitors can spend almost all day exploring the vast gardens. It was originally inhabited by the Baron Jean Le Breton, who worked several roles for Francois I. The property remained a part of the Le Breton family up until the French Revolution. It was later inhabited by the brother of Napoleon, Jérôme Bonaparte.
Oh, cool.
Numéro 5. Château des Ducs de Bretagne. Despite the name, this chateau is not situated in the province of Bretagne, or Brittany in English, but in the heart of the city of Nantes in western France, in the Loire-Atlantique department. However, it was a part of Bretagne up until 1941. It served as a residence for the Dukes of Brittany and is entirely surrounded by a moat. This chateau serves as a museum to visitors of Nantes currently, which hosts a variety of different exhibits. Originally built as a military fortress, that role disappeared in the late 16th century. The most notable historical event that took place here was the signing of the Edict de Nantes, which gave Protestants newly found rights at a time when France was primarily Catholic. Numéro 4. Chateau de Chantilly. Finally, we venture off from the Loire River Valley Chateau and into a town of Chantilly, located northeast of Paris.
They're all about those giant gardens and like mazes and stuff, huh? Oh wow, look, there's in the top left, there's another little garden area over there. I wonder what that is.
Chantilly, located northeast of Paris. This chateau is comprised of 2 main parts, Le Petit Chateau, built in the 16th century, and Le Grand Chateau, which was destroyed during the French Revolution, but later repaired in the 1870s. What you mostly need to know about this chateau is that it's the current location of Musée Condé, which houses the second largest collection of paintings in France after the Louvre. This includes works by Raphael, Fra Angelico, and Nicolas Poussin. Numéro 3. Fontainebleau. Located southwest of Paris, the Fontainebleau is certainly one of the largest chateaux and palaces in France. It dates
Wow.
back to the 1100s and was used by French royalty from Louis VII to Napoleon III. Completely surrounded by forests and artificial lakes, it was a favorite hunting lodge of royalty. The medieval castle that stood at this location was given a serious upgrade by the architect Gilles Le Breton, once again by Francois I. King Henry IV made additional upgrades to the palace, devoting much of his time to parks and gardens around the chateau. This lavish palace even served as a prison to a pope after Napoleon had conquered the Papal States. It continued to serve as a residence for Napoleon and Napoleon's relatives, and their bedrooms are quite decorated. Many leaders of France have their own bedroom here, but one of the most impressive is that of Queen Mother Anne of Austria that we see here. The history of this amazing chateau continues even to the Second World War, and it was used as a headquarters for NATO until 1966.
Really? Wow.
Numero 2, Chambord. The most well-known and debatably the most...
That's huge. This is one building that looks like a whole city on top of a building.
Most beautiful chateau in the Loire River Valley is the Chateau de Chambord. It displays distinct French Renaissance architecture, and when construction began in 1519, it was built specifically to act as the hunting lodge of Francois I. Francois spared no expense in having this one completed, and some even...
That's a hunting lodge. That's what it was built for, was to be a hunting lodge. I think they overshot their mark. Just saying. Maybe they went just a little above and beyond.
Spared no expense in having this one completed, and some even believe that Leonardo da Vinci was involved in the design. The primary architect was Domenico da Cortana from Italy, who also helped design the Hôtel de Ville in Paris. The northwestern facade of this iconic building is quite imposing, and it displays nearly perfect symmetry. This could certainly be the most impressive building constructed under the impactful rule of Francois I.
But what's number one then? If that's the most impressive, how are we topping this, right? I'm excited. Let's see what number one is.
Numero 1, Versailles.
Oh,
The most well-known and popular chateau to visit in France is often considered to be the Chateau of Versailles, located on the Ile-de-France region, situated 12 miles southwest.
Well, I mean, I guess in all fairness, that's one building. Yeah, that is pretty massive. Pretty damn massive. I don't know much about the Versailles. I've heard of it. I mean, I've heard the name, obviously, but I've never seen this image here or an overhead shot. Kind of reminds me of like the way the streets in Washington D.C. are. They have that. They all angle towards like the Capitol building maybe or whatever it is. But yeah.
West of Paris. This was also originally built as a royal hunting lodge, and it's a prime example of
Another royal hunting lodge, huh? Okay.
royalty in France indulging before the French Revolution. Construction began with King Louis XIII, and it quickly became the new seat of French royalty. It was then home to King Louis XIV. The Hall of Mirrors is renowned for its elegance and numerous chandeliers. Here we see the opulent queen's apartment that you can tell is pretty fancy.
Jeez,
the sophisticated gardens of Versailles are unmatched in France and are complete with orangeries. It's been the location of many important treaties that would change history and is estimated to be worth $50 billion.
Jeez.
But it's not for sale.
It's not for sale. Who the hell could afford it? I mean, come on now. You could trade a $50 billion. There's probably countries worth less than that. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know anything. That was a good video. Thanks for the suggestion. Wow. Can I talk? I can't talk right. You guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.